Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. It is Tuesday, and we are checking in with Michelle Wolfe for some talking shift. What is up, Michelle?
Hey, I'm still here.
Dude, I love the new hairdo.
Thank
Awesome.
you. It's feels good. Feels so much lighter. Just like like cutting away old memories. It's awesome. Yeah, I'm liking it. So, getting ready for my trip.
Yeah, that's right. You're taking your trip back down here to the States to the great, colorful Colorado.
Colorado. Yeah, first trip to Colorado. That'll be nice.
We're actually going to see if we can do a broadcast while you're there next week.
We'll give it a shot. Yeah.
Check it out. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, see if the sound works and everything okay, and hopefully it will. But that'll be fun.
Yeah, I don't know if Travis knows yet, but if not, surprise. You might be our special guest next week.
He's a go with the flow guy. He can handle it.
Yeah, I love Travis.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited just to be chilling in my pajamas with Travis. That's what I'm going to be doing. We'll get out for some hikes and stuff, but it'll be really nice. You know, this time of year can get kind of closeted away in the weather and everything. So I think it'll be a good time to get away and just hang out with friends. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Mm-hmm.
So you guys chime in with if you have any symptoms or anything that's popped up in the last week or so, anything worth noting, dreams?
Or anything you want to talk about. I'm a little brain dead today. I'm a little mush. I got up and I was like, I thought I was okay. And then it was like that heavy feeling just kicked in. Oh, maybe let's go lie down a little bit. I almost didn't know if I was going to make it for today. And I got lots to do, of course, to get ready, but I'm just not feeling the energy to go with it. I think we can all relate to that.
Yeah, definitely. So, Schumann's been pretty, I don't know, there's been some
buzz.
Yeah, it's been some buzzes here and there, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah, well, you know what? Thank goodness.
Right, really, yeah.
We did have quite a bit there, and I think still adjusting and integrating from the last big blast that we had. That's how I feel anyways. I've certainly noticed some changes to how much I'm feeling energy and vibration more consistently still. So and I still really feel like these just out of nowhere, it'll just come in out of nowhere sometimes, and these blasts, and it's like it's a vibration. It's like I'm vibrating from the inside out, and I can very much feel at the core coming in, and it'll start to vibrate, buzz, like at the center of the brain, like going down into the throat. I'll feel the vibration in the throat and in here, and it'll hit the high heart area, and it's like a thrumming. And it's quite noticeable and becoming more and more regular. It's just even just like the ringing. It's like it's just there all the time. Like you just get used to it. So I'm feeling like there's this underlying vibration, or I'm just more sensitive. Even sound, I feel like vibrates me. Even the train that goes by in the distance, it's like I can feel it internally, more sensitive to all of that, the sounds and vibrations.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I've had a few instances. Now, of course, I've talked about when I felt like I was having sort of a buzzy out-of-body feeling, but lately I've been having, it's not so much of a buzz or a vibration. It's still a vibration. It's just much slower. It's almost like you're talking about a train going by or an earthquake. It's more of a slower, instead of a bzz, it's more of a slower kind of a thrumming. And I got
A
that in my
thrumming.
hands. I felt like it almost felt like when I was laying in bed, like something was shaking the bed a little bit, like this, right?
Yes.
You've gotten that,
Yes.
and I've got it in my
It's like
hand
that. It's like
stronger, and
that. Like you said, it's like
yeah,
it's more like that. It's not like
right.
it's a thrumming vibration, and
I
I
mean, I
can feel
quite
it.
literally thought it was something shaking the bed or an
Sometimes,
earthquake
yeah,
or something, you
yeah.
know?
I
Yeah.
just and I find I'm just notice more, but like I'll notice that even I notice the difference between okay that like the train going by, but even how much more I feel that like I how much more I'm feeling the train then because there's this constant vibration. And if I go into like, a meditative state, deep lying in my bed, not all the time, but more and more frequently, that it just happens. Like I just start to feel that uh shifting
Mm-hmm.
like this. And I will find that my body will respond or react like that. That energy will sort of come in, that vibration will kick in. And then it's like it pings off of different areas um and the body will sort of respond like with heart palpitations, like sometimes it'll come in and hit the heart and I'll and the heart will actually like skip a beat and be like wallop wallop sort of
Right.
um or it'll hit my gut and I'll feel like shifts or movement there um or I've felt it like come in and it was literally like it pinged. It was like a ping of energy off of the root chakra and back up. I don't know how else to describe it except that it was literally feeling energy vibration come in down through the center,
Mm-hmm.
ping off of the core and like it vibrated that ping like it was like a physical reaction that vibrated through the rest of my body and it sort of echoed back out again. And it's both a physical experience
Mm-hmm.
and something more than that. You yeah.
Some people are dealing with the tiredness I see, and Alva likes the new do, she says.
Oh, thank you.
Tony says, just hit like a ton of bricks. I feel sick for 3 days.
Headaches really coming and
Oh,
going.
yeah,
The
the
head
headaches.
pressure really, it feels like the two halves of my brain are getting melded together.
Yeah.
Like
It's that rainbow bridge getting soldered
well,
in or
yeah, it's
welded
really,
in.
we talked about this a few weeks ago, like, and I
Yeah.
don't know if we talked about it on the air or not, but that I was just really feeling this reaction, almost like activation or connections melding between the two halves of the brain
Yeah.
and feeling those additional connections and they do cause like sensation. And we talked about it a bit last week because I'm becoming more aware of physically when I'm using my third eye like as an actual sense
Yeah.
and what that feels like and the sensations all around that area of the third eye and the pineal gland and what it feels like when they're stimulated and can feel that activity going on. And that's like that vibration kicks in and the pressure can really kick in here too. Um, it just feels like a lot of different things going on like very rapidly
Yeah. Renee's got
in that area.
she felt last night, and let's see. I felt that last night and feel that too. My bed shakes, and I will look to see if anything else is shaking.
I'm like, oh, it's me.
Yeah, that's strange. And I and
hmm
I don't even know that I'm really shaking. I think I just feel like I'm shaking.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a real. I don't think, I didn't notice. It
Hmm.
was in the dark, of course, but I don't
Yeah.
think I was really shaking. It was,
But even sometimes feeling like shaky,
yeah.
not even just like lying, like the line, like I think we notice it more when we're like still and lying down quiet. But
Even now I'm noticing it a little bit now that I'm
a
really still. Yeah.
shakiness.
Yeah.
Um, hmm.
Yeah, I've gotten it up into my legs, sitting at the computer, where it almost feels
Yes.
like I got my legs going in and out a little bit like this, but they're not.
Yeah. That I can relate to
Weird.
too. Yeah.
That's strange. What do you think that is? That's got to be
Well,
something with
because like
frequencies or something.
I always go back to my dreams for reference because they provided so much of this information about what this experience is like, right?
Yeah.
And and whenever I've had those super lucid real dreams where I think I'm actually waking up, but I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
still asleep, but I wake up and I'm vibrating. I'm literally everything is vibration. Everything. And I'm vibration.
Yeah.
And I'm buzzing, and that vibration and that buzzing has always been my cue, and not one dream, not two dreams, not three dreams, a whole series of dreams that start with that sensation.
Yeah.
And they're highly lucid, they're super super real. And that's been like one of my like tips, okay, to the know, like, okay, what's going on, like this is real, like I'm really feeling this. It's
Mm-hmm.
completely different. It vibrates so much, like in the dreams I feel everything around me through vibration, that I can move myself
Yeah.
within a space because of that, because of this like vibrational awareness spatially. It's a completely different sensation. And I do feel that the dreams have been working to acclimate me to what that sensation is. If you've never been swimming before, never seen the water, never been in the ocean, never done any of that, how do you approach it, right? You dip your toe in first
Right.
and feel it, well, some of us just get thrown in off the dock, but
Right. Feels that way, doesn't it?
feels that way. And I think, but they pull us back out. But I think that's it. Like, you would drown if you didn't,
Yeah.
most of the time. I mean, some people can, right? Those crazy survivor stories of getting thrown in, and they just learn to swim, and you just do, right? But I think for most of us, it takes this acclimation process, and it's just tuning up that dial. And I mean, we do see that with the Schumann, right? And over the last few years, how it's been increasing, and with each year, it's increasing more and more. The blasts that we are getting are, go for longer durations and hit higher peaks. So it's literally turning up that dial, and it's, yeah, just adjusting to it,
Going back to
adjusting
the
to it.
chat here, Alva says, I think we're feeling the vibrational essences of the earth. That's a really
Yeah.
good theory. Misty says, oh my God, I also get the vibrating when I'm in bed and it feels like a mini earthquake or something. Totally
Hmm.
exactly how I would explain
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's nice to know that we're not the only ones, and and multiple people are feeling it. And I've gotten multiple reports from people that people are beginning to experience sleep paralysis. One of the key factors in leading to an out of body experience, and really not knowing what it is, doing searches, and then discovering what it is, but really wanting it to stop. But I don't think, I was reading, checking in with Michael Raduga, who does a lot of out of body stuff, and he was saying that it's part of our consciousness expanding.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the biblical stories that you listen to sounds like the prophets were having an out of body experience. In fact, sometimes they'll say something like, "Was I in my body or not? This I do not know," and stuff.
Yeah.
Or they'll hear voices. And another report I've heard is other people hearing voices, usually right around the time they're falling asleep or just waking up. So right around, and it sounds audible. It sounds like it's in the room with them. You know.
Yeah.
And sometimes it seems like they're overhearing a conversation. So there seems to be a lot going on with a lot of people. I mean, even all of my kids are reporting stuff, seeing orbs, hearing voices. and things like that actually sort of worried about it. I'm like, no, don't be worried about it. Actually, you should be listening to the channel because we've been talking about all this stuff you're talking about, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just slowly adjusting, and the veils, as it thins more and more, these experiences and our perception of the experiences, and it's a big adjustment to realize that the world doesn't work the way you thought it did, in this three to go from that 3D linear, well, this is the way everything works. And it takes there's so many elements, I think, that just have to be peeled back bit by bit so you can open up to the experience, to be available for the experience
Mm-hmm.
in like a very real way, a
Yeah.
very real physical way. And that's what's happening. We've been peeling back those layers. We've been shedding those belief systems and stepping outside of the illusion and becoming aware of that. And yeah, and so more and more and more, we're aware of a new reality.
Yeah. Yeah, Todd's saying it could be an indicator of resonant state with oneness gate. Uh, oh, sorry to hear that, Beach Weave. My dad threw me off a boat. Guess sink or swim. Teaching you to. Okay, LZ says, yes, I'm vibrating and shaking on and off since 2014. I
Hmm.
had immense stress that year. Yeah, so,
Well, I have really noticed that progression from like a few months ago when we first brought it up, where it's like feeling the bed shaking and thinking, um, and how much it has picked up for me since that point, to actually feeling the vibration emanating from the core of me
yeah,
outward. That it's not just a sensation of like what is shaking, like to actually feel that shaking and that vibration within myself,
yeah,
realizing more that it's like more emanating out as an experience. Because then when I realize that, when especially if I go deep within that meditation and sort of go into that the simplicity state of the kingdom is within, like that's all within. I'm not outside searching for anything outside myself. I'm not searching for any experience outside my, like, that is within. Those really deep thoughts in meditation, when they sort of sink in, that's when I actually feel as well this physical vibration response. Like
mm-hmm,
it picks up, um, and elevates. And that's when I'll get like that heart, like flip flop, this energy expansion. So it really does respond to what's going on within me.
yeah. There's other people reporting shakiness. I'm seeing as I'm scanning through here. Caleb is not getting any vibes like that, but you know what? It's like you've talked about stuff, and I didn't get it for six. It would be 6 months later, and then here we have somebody that's been experiencing it since 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see, someone else reported that they had their first sleep paralysis experience. Sleep paralysis first time Sunday evening.
Oh,
It was
wow.
terrifying, and it felt like someone else was in the bed with me. Visualized white healing light around me and managed to get up. Now, another thing that you got to keep in mind, because my daughter was explaining this, that it had happened to her, this whole sleep paralysis thing, and she said she was able to wiggle her toes. And then once she wiggled her toes, she was able to wiggle her foot and her whole leg, and then she finally broke free of it. But that's actually the way in the book I'm reading right now. It says to break free of your body and to go out of body, start with like just moving your hand up and down on the bed or something like that, and you break free. So the way she explained it to me, I'm like, well, did you ever fully get up or anything? She was like, no, I never actually got up. I just, once I could move, I fell back asleep. And I'm like, well, you might not have actually moved your body. You might have been out of body, because a lot of
Yeah.
people never leave their bedroom because they don't realize they're out of their body. And, you know, this is the case. This could be the case with this experience you had where you felt like you managed to start moving, because that's how it was for me. I rolled over, I don't know, half dozen times or something, thinking I really rolled over, and I'd only end up right back in my body again, and I didn't know what the heck was going on. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I actually got up, felt the floor and the ceiling, and was sure I was awake, and popped back into my body into the bed again. And like I said, it happened about 6 times in a row where I thought I was out of my body, but I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Or I thought I was in my body getting up, but I was actually out of my body getting up. So yeah, it's wild. So it's happening a lot to people, and I know
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of people they've been trying to do this for years. Some people have been trying not to do it for a long time. I know in another instance that when people go out of their body, they will hear someone breathing behind them, and they'll feel like it's like, you know, a demon or something behind them, because they just sort of, you know, it's a
I
fearful
wonder if
thing.
it's them breathing behind themselves
That's
because
exactly what it
they
is.
push themselves forward out of the body. So they're actually it's them lying in the bed that they're hearing breathing.
That's exactly right. Yeah, sometimes people will float up out of their body a little bit. They'll
Yeah.
hear themselves breathing or snoring or whatever behind them, and they'll
Yeah.
feel like, you know,
It's
something's
them.
breathing down their neck, and it's really their own. Because your ears and eyes, you have, like, when you go out of body, you have ears and eyes in this
Yeah.
astral body or whatever. So you experience yourself as a separate being, and you can totally hear yourself snoring or something behind you, and it can sound like a monster. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, it's like whatever your imagination jumps to or whatever. So there's a lot of strange experiences, and I hear stories like this all the time where the people never even realize what it was. They'll say something was on me, holding me down, and it'll be a very, you know, dark experience for them because they couldn't move, and they were hearing this breathing, and, you know, they add all that together, and it was like some
Hmm.
monster was holding me to the bed and I couldn't move. And so it's a very
Well,
scary experience
listen,
for some
I've
people.
got, a while ago, like, I don't know, maybe probably about like 10 years ago or so, I had these dreams all the time. And this is when I still had fear and dreams and would still have nightmares. And um, I could fly sometimes in dreams, but it was like if doubt kicked in, and it was still more like had to push it. There was good days and bad days when it came to flying in dreams back then. But I would have these repetitive dreams. And they were always started off the same way, and very similar to like where I was lying in my usually in my own bed or like in my room, and it was very real. And I felt like there was another presence in the room. And it was a little alarming, like there was a ghost. The way it was in the dream, it was like there was this ghost. I was aware of this like invisible presence. And and it would, just like in a horror movie, it was like, and that's the way the experience was. It was like all of a sudden I would feel myself like picked up and like pushed like up against the wall, and then like getting pushed up the wall, and then like dragged across the wall kind of thing, where I didn't have that control of my own body, and it's picking me up and moving me through the air, moving me. And that was really scary. It was very much that horror movie kind of feeling from it. And it was terrifying. And I had it repetitively. But at a certain point, what started happening was I didn't go into fear. I didn't react. I didn't assume that I stopped assuming that it was a negative experience. Um, and what happened one time was I'm like, well, let's just see where it takes me. Like, where is it trying to take me? Like, it's moving me up and around. Okay, I'll just go with it. And I just relaxed into the experience, and 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 found myself like floating midair, like it was pulling me along. And so it ended up guiding me the room. Like, I always ended the dream before in the room, and I was terrified. But it took me out of the room and down, it's sort of sweeping and down this hallways and to this little spot that you never would have seen, like off in the corner. And it showed me that there was like something behind the wall, this hidden treasure that you open up. And I go in, and it was like this amazing gift. I can't remember what it was, but it was very abundant feeling. It was like I had everything I needed at the like finding this, be like finding a winning lottery ticket per se or something. That was the feeling of it, right? So So that allowed me to really let go of that. You just disappeared.
No, I'm still here, but you did freeze
Oh,
for a second.
okay. There you go. Did I cut out on you at
No,
all?
you said it would.
Okay, cool.
I
It
forgot the
allowed
last
me
thing
to
you
let
said.
go of the fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was nothing to be afraid of. Here was it was just going with the flow. There's so many things in that dream that we talk about by just releasing that fear, surrendering, going with the flow, because that's what that experience was. It was like very much I was just flowing along, going with
Yeah.
that flow, and it guided me to things I never would have found on my own, and to these hidden treasures of what's available. So from there, all of a sudden, that's when things really began to shift as far as getting control of my fear and fear experience, like experiencing fear in dreams. That's one of the things. And also where I started to then really experience that ability of moving myself around independently in that way. Like I couldn't do it like that before within dreams. There it was like somebody else got, sort of being pulled. But after that, I became like, very easy for me to just levitate and move myself around in dreams on my own, and um, didn't need to be pulled anywhere. There was a whole series of other dreams similar where I would be floating and just following this flow, feeling this like energy current or flow. One was really cool. It was like above, I was up in the sky, like above a farm in a barn, and there was these white orbs just floating there up in the sky. And I was just like, ping. And I'd get this, I'd go from orb to orb, just touching each orb. And each time I did, I got this like just amazing rush of feeling, like just like bliss. Like it was crazy. So it was just this floating thing, these different orbs. But yeah, so there was a lot of experiences after that. But I think it really is releasing that fear and expectation of experience. It was only me that was thinking that it was a ghost, it was bad, that what was going on scary, that I was afraid because I didn't have control of the situation, and all those reactions that made it a nightmare for myself. And it was really when I released that unlocked the key to a whole other way of experiencing things.
That's exactly why I wanted to bring it up, because just having that knowledge of knowing, hey, if you feel like you're stuck or you can't move, you're probably about to go into an out of body experience, which can be the
Just
most awesome experience ever. But it's
mm,
scary if you feel like you can't move or you got this intense buzzing. It felt like my whole body, like, when your arm falls asleep, like you lay on it wrong and it falls asleep, my whole
mm-hmm,
body was doing that. So my first thought when I'm laying in bed is, oh my God, my heart stopped and now my whole body feels like it's asleep, because that's what happens. The blood's not getting to your arm. So
mm-hmm,
my brain's like rationalizing it. And of course, once I got past that, then I thought, I was right after I started my YouTube channel. I was like, oh my God, they're beaming me from the satellite with some kind of new technology to shut me up. I'm a targeted individual. Now I'm thinking I went down that track. And then it brought back nostalgia of having that feeling as a child. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the feeling I would get when I would have nightmares or night terrors as a young child. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I hadn't felt it in years. And I was like, oh my gosh, was I being abducted by aliens as a child? So my brain went through this whole slew of things before I actually realized, oh my gosh, this was an out of body experience. And then I was trying to make it happen. And it's
mm-hmm,
it's so difficult. One way is to just sit completely still, and if you get a scratch on your cheek or you want to move or anything, you just stay real still for like 15 minutes, and your body, does these tests to see if you're asleep, and if you are and you don't move or respond to these little triggers it gives you to readjust or move, then it paralyzes you, like when you go into a surgery or an operation, and
right,
it disconnects your body from your brain, so to speak. Well, your
right,
brain does that in a certain sleep cycle or whatever, so you can allow it to go in there while hanging on to your awareness. But the problem I always get when I get to that point, when I feel the buzzing coming on, is like, oh my gosh, this is it, it's about to happen. And I'm like, just relax into it, and it makes me fall asleep. So I
Yeah.
let go of the awareness. So that's sort of where I'm at with trying to force it to happen. Otherwise, it just happens on accident. I'll either realize I'm dreaming because something outlandish happens, and and then I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a lucid dream, and then you can take it over or have fun creating. And
Yeah.
I think Caleb had a good suggestion too. He was saying that when he has dreams like that and something scary's in it, he just turns it into something else. Because you have the power to, turn something, if it's a monster, turn it into a big fluffy bunny rabbit or something.
Like in Harry Potter. Yeah, they do that.
But
Yeah.
you have to have some level of awareness to be able to do that, or otherwise you don't
You
even realize you're dreaming.
you do. Like there real it is a real ability that you have to decimate your nightmares.
Hmm.
Literally decimate them or change them or whatever. And it's simply the belief and the knowing that you can.
Yeah.
And it's a very deep, so that doubt doesn't can't wiggle its way in. It's such a firm stance. It's such a knowing that nothing, that in that state nothing can take anything from you, that you're in complete control, that it's your realm. um and there's an important lesson for us to carry that into this and carry that energy into this reality,
Hmm.
uh and to walk with that feeling.
Yeah. Rhythmic Panda says try to do the wake back to sleep method. That is a really good one where you actually, and that's a lot of us will do it on accident this way, where you've pretty much had a full night's sleep or you've slept long enough that you're not like really
Yeah,
fatigued. You get up, go to the bathroom, get a drink,
you can get
maybe
that
even
another hour and
stay
a
up.
half or so, and it's that.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Stay
that's where.
where you stay awake anywhere from 5 minutes to a half hour or something, and then go back to bed,
Yeah.
and then you're able to remember your dreams. You're able to have a lucid dream or even go out of body at that point. So that's probably the best way I've heard. Although when I accidentally did it was when I went to bed at night, and so it can really happen at any time. And that's why I really appreciate Albert Taylor's book, Soul Traveler, because he really goes into it. Was really like a diary of him keeping track of like what he ate and when he went to bed and all this stuff. And
Wow.
he ended up just turning it into a book that was like a bestseller because it
Cool.
was he's like a scientist, so it was like really nice with the data and how he documented everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. Cool.
Yeah, and that's another thing that, like, like someone had mentioned earlier about surrounding themselves with light or anything like that. I know some people will cry out to Jesus. Whatever you feel like in your mind works.
Yeah.
That's what
'Cause
works.
whatever
Wha-
you believe
Yeah,
works,
exactly.
that's what will work.
Exactly.
Right?
And it's amazing.
If it's Archangel Michael coming in with a sword to cut everybody away, cut it,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, like if you can carry that firm belief and knowing
Yeah.
that that's what will do it,
Yeah. Know that you're
then it'll
protected.
do it. It is as simple as that. Yeah.
And I always say that, when because people say, you go to Raphael for healing, you go to Michael for protection. And if I'm messing it up, forgive me because I don't really know. But I just know from my point of view, it's never mattered if I've cried out for help at any point. The intention goes to the right person. It's not like, if you're about to have a wreck and you say, Raphael, help me. And then you get in a wreck and he's like, sorry. It's Jesus that takes the wheel. I don't take the steering wheel. You know what I mean? But I don't
Yeah.
think it matters. It's us. It's our human nature that wants to label and categorize and all that stuff. It's a benevolent agency just waiting and they're ready to help at any moment that you call on them. So
I think if you can call out to your higher self, your own higher self, and
yeah,
recognizing that power that you have, and that it's not someone or something outside of yourself that is
yeah,
saving you, that it's you saving you.
yeah. It's really wherever you put your faith. Like Jesus said, it's your faith that made you whole.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's your faith that made you protected. It's your faith, and you hear a lot with Jesus. I just got the word Jesus out, and they went away or whatever. But that's like where their faith lied. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. I mean, it does carry that energy, but yeah, you have to You have to believe.
Yeah.
Even if you just got remembering the Exorcist movies, to, it's that sort of thing. It's like to do an exorcism and the devil would laugh. It's like you don't believe your own words, so
Right.
you know, kind of thing. It's not gonna. You can say whatever you want, but if you don't believe the words yourself, it's certainly not going to work on me.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I think that's really it. It's the power of your own conviction.
I think so too. But I think, it's like I mentioned a whole new world last time. Somebody said they thought of the song, from the Disney thing or
Hmm.
whatever. But it really is, and it's like the fear are the gatekeepers to keep you beyond that point. The fear keeps us sort of in the matrix, you know, and from
Huge.
wandering beyond it. And that
Yeah.
reminds me of the Truman Show when whenever he tried to explore, like, no, the world's already been explored. Sorry, or don't go
Yeah.
over that hill. There's a
Somebody
cliff. You
died
might fall
there.
off.
You don't want to do
Exactly.
that.
Don't go
Yeah.
into the ocean. And they're like,
Yeah.
turn up the waves. We got to keep them in, And
Yeah.
he got beyond that fear and he got to the edge. And I think that's really a really good archetype for how it is. If you can get beyond that fear that comes
It
over
really
you
is.
and all of that, you can expand yourself into areas that you've never even imagined.
It is a really good analogy, that show too, because he had to step out. He had a comfortable life, right? He had like a made for TV life, and uh and to step away from that for the truth,
Getting out of
to
your
be
comfort
willing
zone.
to give up all your little perfect home and your perfect family, or what you think is perfect reality. Well, that's what everybody strives for,
Yeah.
and to step out, be willing to sacrifice all that for the real truth, and the truth of like who you are and what your experience really is.
Hmm.
You got it. Yeah, it's not just the waves that can, or the stories and everything. You got to be willing to step away from that version of reality.
Yeah.
That's
And
huge.
really, we're the only people that can do it for ourselves. It's
Yeah.
that we need to do that shift in our thinking and our perspective and all of that to accomplish that. And of course, we're here to help each other, but at the same time, at the end of the day, we have to make that choice to shift how we view things and all of that good stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So, no dreams, no, really, not too much on the Schumann blast.
Mm-hmm.
There's Zoe or Archer.
Zoe.
You think I know your dogs by now, so
I know it's okay. Dark
at
one,
least I'm not
Zoe.
calling her Chloe anymore. You know,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
did
mom's
that for
back.
like 6 months.
Did you really? You called
Yeah,
her Chloe for
it's like
6 months?
Chloe. You're like, no, Zoe. I'm like, oh,
Zoe.
okay. Yeah, I'd always think of 24 in the computer girl on
That's
there
funny.
named Chloe. I was like,
Hmm.
no, it's not Chloe, it's Zoe.
Mm.
Okay, let me go back here and see what people are saying about symptoms. Uh, yep, Rhythmatic Panda saying that waking back to sleep thing. That actually happens on accident a lot, because like
Mm-hmm.
I'll run my wife to work or something, or my kid will miss the school bus because I'm usually up really late, so I'm usually
Yeah.
asleep when they leave. But if they miss their bus, I have to run them to school, and I come back, I go back to bed, and then bam,
Yeah.
I get a dream because I
Yeah.
was up for 30 minutes running them to school and back,
Yeah.
So
I absolutely agree with that one. And you know what? And I've always been like you. We have similar sleep habits. We're both night owls.
right,
Yeah. So, and I do get more of that. And I've leaned towards that because my more fun, exciting dreams are often with that sleep in the morning.
right,
Right? Like that's and I want to stay in it. I like to stay in it.
yeah. Some people even drink a little coffee when they get up and go back to bed. That way, it helps them stay a little bit more aware and not drift off too deep back
I
into
can do
sleep.
that. Yeah. I do that too.
But my one daughter that had the out of body or the sleep paralysis says she actually saw a woman like open the door and enter the room, and she was wearing all white, and her hair was down to like I think she said it was even longer than she was tall, so it was like kind of on the floor, like
Wow.
dragging, and she was real beautiful, and she was like moving towards her, and all she could move was her eyes or whatever. So she saw a being. I know that when Albert Taylor was on, he said he saw a being, and then someone that he talked to said, "Hey, when you're flying around out of your body, have you ever turned around and looked back?" He says, "No, actually, I haven't." So the next time he did that, he turned around and he saw, like, I guess it ended up being his higher self or his guide, holding him by the ankles, like helping him fly, you know. So he was kind of surprised that he was there, and he like waved, you know, and he like let go of one foot and waved back and stuff, you know. It's
That's
like, wow,
funny. Oh my
it is.
goodness.
Other
That's
people say
hilarious.
they've flown like staring up, feet first, flying along, like the opposite of what Superman flies, you know. Like
Yeah. Feet
look
first.
up, just yeah, just
Like you're
flying
in
feet
your
first.
bed.
Right.
The bed there and you're
Yep.
right.
You know,
Right. That's
flying feet
funny.
first, start going down the steps at an angle and everything. That's so funny.
Hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, I know we got a lot of night owls in our little group here.
Hmm.
I always know because a lot of people in Europe will still catch the late shows. It's like, dude, it's like 3 in the morning there. You're still up, you know.
Yeah. Same read.
Yep, drinking Mountain Dew before bed. I could definitely see how that would help. It's got a lot of caffeine in it. All right. So, okay, so your trip, you're leaving out tomorrow or next day?
Tomorrow, taking the train out, going to Hamilton for a bit, and then yeah, and then catch the flight. Should be catching the flight Thursday morning. So yeah. So
Exciting.
little bit of traveling. Yeah. I just gotta get you guys know what it's like. I get the energy.
How long are you're going to wait to pack, aren't you, until the last minute? You're like,
Oh,
throwing
totally.
your stuff in.
Things now.
You're going to pack after the show?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I do have more energy. I'll probably pack later tonight. I started doing some laundry and stuff, and I don't need too much. So,
Yeah.
and winter clothes. It's not, it's not like going somewhere warm. I pack way more stuff, summer stuff, way more t-shirts and everything. But there's only so much fuzzy stuff I can fit in a suitcase for winter wear. So
Right.
I
It's
won't
still
be able
pretty
to pack
cold there,
near as
so
much stuff, right?
yeah.
All those clothes take a lot more room. The cozy stuff. So I'll probably be keeping it pretty simple. I'm not going to make it too complicated.
Well, it's 56 here now. I bet it might warm up in the daytime in Colorado, like in the 50s
Hmm.
or something. So
Yeah, but I won't be needing shorts and t-shirts.
definitely no shorts. Unless you're
Makes it a
planning on
lot more
sleeping in them.
complicated when you're going from like cold weather to like warm. Like when was it? Early last spring when I went from here to um
Arizona? Or,
yeah, Arizona. I was like, like you have to pack two sets of clothes, right? It was still like two. Yeah, it's a lot more difficult. This will keep it pretty simple.
but that's pretty hilarious watching people get off the plane. Everybody's dressed in shorts, but somebody's like really bundled up, carrying a coat. And it's like, man,
Yeah,
it's hot. You know?
it's quite a drastic change. Yeah. So, but this will, I think the weather will be pretty similar to it's here right now. So it's not going to be much of a drastic change. Hmm.
Yeah, they're starting to charge for luggage. That's crazy. Like charging by the suitcase and stuff nowadays.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
I'll keep it simple.
All right. Well, anything else to cover before we head out today? You want to keep it short?
Brain dead is a symptom today, so pretty much. Yeah, just feeling
Yeah, I've
not
definitely
too
been in
much to
that.
share, but
I've definitely been in that dreamy state where
very much
even
today.
yeah.
Like
Well, I mean,
almost
even
bleary eyed, like almost
yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah, a little bleary eyed, almost like
yeah.
I'm still dreaming.
Even
So,
yesterday was kind of heavy. It felt
hmm.
just felt heavier yesterday for some reason.
It yeah,
Yeah,
I have felt well. Always the full moon does take a bit of a toll. It may not be right that day,
yeah,
but within a day or two of that,
yeah,
I do find it gets very heavy for me, literally physically heavy. Like my
yeah.
bones feel heavy. I can feel more. drained, feel more emptied out, sleep
Yeah.
a lot more.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, whereas more like the new moon energy, I find like I'll go in peaks where like I'm awake. I'm awake way more. I don't sleep near as much. I've got way more energy. I'm way more active and alert. But by the time I get around to that full moon and it's gone through, I'm yeah, on the
Let's
other end.
see. That's good advice. Rhythmic Panda saying, everyone remember to ground the energy into the grid right now. Use the moon. Ride the waves. That definitely could be as we move out of the full moon phase. And I think
Mm-hmm.
just shifting, like going into stuff, even the new moon going into that darkest period and then it reemerging, just seems
It's
like
like
the
a
shift in the energy is something that we all feel, even in different ways. You know,
yeah. It's really
sometimes
an
you just,
ebb and flow, like the tides. You
yeah,
know that ebb and just really feeling that, and I feel like I respond more to that and have noticed that increasingly over the last 2 years. So that's pretty predictable for me
yeah.
at this point and how I'll experience that. And it does feel like an ebb and flow of energy and ideas and different things. Steve Noble a couple months ago put out a good matrix meditation that's just good for like new moon, full moon, um just yeah, and I've been using that a little more regular, like sort of on those new moon or full moon times, just to really clear that energy within me and make sure everything's kind of flowing smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
I do find it helpful, so I think I might do that one today.
That's a good point. Yesterday was 144. I didn't even really realize
Oh,
that. Yeah, 144. Yeah, I did
was
notice
really
the
feeling the
111.
11th, like the 11th and the 12th and the 13th have been
Yeah,
really so it's a lot of energy. Really,
yeah.
really feeling that buzzing and pressure in the head. The headaches come and go. Small spurts of anxiety sort of kick in, but then I can dispel them. But sort of comes in a little bit heavy sometimes. Like
Yeah.
you just kind of have to work through and release it and different sensations. But I have felt a lot more active, like 11th, 12th,
I think it was
13th.
a this full moon was a wolf full moon, wasn't it?
Oh well, no wonder.
Yeah.
What was the
I
year? Was
actually
the
thought of you and Lauren Canal Pavelka because she's like
Yeah.
all into the wolf too. So I actually thought of both of you two.
Well, I think that was it because I moved here January last year, like with the full moon
That's right.
eclipse last year.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool. It wasn't didn't land on the same date, but a week difference. But it really is kind of like that coming back around full circle. I never really thought about that, with the lunar eclipse and everything that we had. It's like, wow, it's been a year. I drove here literally during the eclipse while it was going on. I
Yeah.
was driving out here. I got here just after it had.
That was late January, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Or
I was like around the 20th or so,
yeah.
20th or 21st or something that it came out. Yeah. Um. So it was interesting coming around a full year that it's been a year.
Yeah. Steve Noble is amazing, Karen.
Yeah. You know what? You want to experience energy more, feel more physically energy. Start doing Steve Noble meditations regularly.
Yeah.
Really, I know like a lot, we all feel things differently and everything, but I think if you want to start feeling things more physically that maybe you're not right now, definitely would recommend that.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
binaural beats help too.
The frequencies are really, yeah, I think that's really, I think it does have an effect because I definitely respond with that vibration we talked about, like that when I put the frequencies on. I'm really very aware of that internal vibration and it rippling out, and I think it has done a lot for my experience of the energies and feeling that vibration picking up. It's like it's tuning into a dial and learning how to listen to it and being aware of it. So you
It's
listening
really
to that.
wild too when you stop listening to it and you take your headphones off and your head's still going whoa, 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 whoa,
Well,
for a
that's
little
what I
bit.
do. That I'm like I'm vibrating. Like what's going? And I take it out, and I'm like, no, still vibrating. But that's the thing is like I know I'm noticing the 528 hertz seems to
Low
really
frequency.
match the
Yeah.
internal vibration.
Yeah.
So really this week I've been because usually 432 or a mix of it, but I've been noticing the 528 really seems to feel like a response and a match. Like it's
Right.
what I'm hearing is matching what I'm feeling. Mm-hmm. And it does. You can match the vibration. You can, or even the ear ring. You can match it up. So, mm-hmm.
I'm wondering how many people, because I've noticed that with my lower jaw, if I move my lower jaw forward, the ringing gets louder, and if I'm getting ringing in my ear on
Mm-hmm.
top of that, it doesn't stop that ringing from happening. It's mainly in my right ear. So if I move my jaw like
Yeah, it
forward, I
does.
can hear the ringing get louder in my right ear. So I was
Well,
kind
that's
of
what.
wondering if something I
Well,
never noticed, or if it's something everyone or some people experience. So if anybody can
well,
do a check and chime in the chat, because I'd like to know.
yeah. Well, no, I do. If I do that, it takes that. But I know it's like you're moving like the muscles around your ear because I've been noticing that more over that. Like we talked
Is it
about, I
making it more
feel like I have a
sensitive?
dog ear. I feel like I have a dog ear. Like you know how dogs like can
Right?
move their ears.
Yeah.
So you're doing this, right? So
Yeah.
when the frequencies pick up and that pitch picks up, I feel like I have like dog ears. Like I can adjust like
Right.
when I tune into it, like adjust. But like you're moving your jaw. It's like
Right.
the same thing because it's moving that area. That's what it's
Yeah.
doing. But
So I wonder if I'm hearing my muscle, just the frequency of my muscle, or if it's making my ear more sensitive to that frequency that I'm hearing, or what it is, you know? Because the
I'm not.
frequency's there all the time. Like if I'm in a
It is.
completely silent room, I hear it, but I typically just tune it out for whatever other sounds I'm hearing. If I, just like now I'm listening to you, I've got background sounds going, but when I move my jaw and it makes it louder,
It's
then it
just
makes me
tuning
notice
in.
it, you know?
It's just a tune. It's like tuning in. But you can get to do that, I think, without having to move your jaw. Like you can,
Right.
when you start to really listen to it, like if you do that and you feel that, when you do that, you feel that where it like pulls on the inside of your ear, like almost
Yeah.
like around your ear. And when you hear the pitch pick up, you can almost like feel it in your ear. You have like a sensitivity around that whole area
Yeah.
where you can feel more. So kind of just playing with that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I call them like ear kegels.
Right.
It's kind of the same thing. Like that's what you're doing, right? And it's like just moving the muscles like around that area. So I don't know exactly what it does. I just know that it does. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm
But
not
you're
sure
right. It's
why.
always there. It just turns it up to the point that you hear it get louder, and then it's like, oh, I can hear it now. So it brings your attention to it. But as soon
Mm-hmm.
as you let off, you hear it didn't go away. It just got quieter. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it is always there.
It's almost like see, like when I do it, there's a lot of things I do with it without it realizing. So like almost like when I start channeling or like tuning in, I'll do a few things automatically. I tilt my head because I'm listening. What am I hearing through this ear? I don't know. But this eyebrow goes up oftentimes because it's all connected here. Well,
Yeah.
for me, and like for me, there it's like, but it pulls on it. I'm noticing what you do with your jaw.
Yeah.
It's like it just goes automatically. It's just because I'm
I
starting to
can feel
like
that with
tune
my eyebrow
in.
too. Like,
Mm-hmm. But
yeah, that
that's how
moves
I'm
your ear.
feeling. Like, I was trying to describe it last week, and trying again today too. That sensitivity of tuning in with the third eye and what that feels like. Trying to describe it to you guys. It's similar to what we're talking about with the ear, like how you do that. And okay, it's like, can you feel around the ear canal? Can you feel your muscles working? Can you feel how they're sensitive to that sound, or how they're like working to tune in or shifting or moving? um that's what I'm feeling with the different sensations with tuning, like all in the forehead, with tuning into the third eye. And it's like
Yeah.
it's a connection. It's this with that, and meeting in the center. And
Yeah.
it's similar to what we're talking about with this, like, okay, if I move my jaw, I can feel that. There's a similarity. So it kind of helps try to describe what that feels like.
So yeah, I
I
was
tune
doing a
into it, just
similar.
like you were tuning in with your ear.
I was doing a similar exercise where I sort of put my fingers like where like one finger's covering one eye, one finger's covering the other eye, just partial of my field of view. And then I was shifting my awareness from one eye to the other one, so I could see what I couldn't see out of my left and noticing what I could see out of my right, but not out of my left. And then switching my awareness to the
Mm-hmm.
other eye and seeing what I could see, just the opposite. But then
I,
moving my
yeah.
awareness to my third eye at that point, and because they're all connected, they all have optical nerves, they're all connected
Yeah.
into the visual cortex. So moving it around like that, moving it to my mind's eye or my third eye on purpose, just to see what it feels like and to get used to moving it into my mind's eye. You know what I mean?
Well, if you the sensation of peripheral vision,
Yeah.
right? Looking and having that sensation of like so even that I'm looking at you right now, I'm go aware of peripheral. You can feel even by just doing peripheral vision and loosening your focus of what's directly in front of you and feeling the sensation of viewing peripheral, all of a sudden
Yeah.
you feel like boom, the stimulation goes right to the center of my forehead. It goes right
Okay.
to the third eye. So if you can even just go peripheral, it's like it starts to go
Yeah.
back in, and that's where that sensation of the third eye can start to kick in.
Yeah. It does do the
You
same
feel
feeling.
that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's neat. Where
Yeah.
else do you get information like this, right? If you guys know, put it in the chat. I'd like to know. It's awesome. Well, awesome, sister. I love you so much.
Oh, I love you, bro.
So
Yeah.
glad you joined today, and I hope you have a wonderful, safe trip.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not a fountain of information today. I'm feeling a little mushy, but still
Oh,
wanted
no,
to
it's
get
all
on
good.
here and yeah, just share some time with you guys. And yeah, looking forward to getting away, and hopefully we'll be able to do that next week. So good luck, that'll work. If it doesn't work, guys, don't be too surprised. We're going to give it a shot and see what happens. But hopefully both Travis and I will be able to be there next week. If not, then I'll be back in 2 weeks.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining and taking part in the chat and chiming in, and everyone later watching this. Lots of love and light to each and every one of you, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Thanks, guys.
Be sure to check out the website at uotf.net. There you will find the live stream schedule displayed in your local time right there on the front page. Below that, you'll find links to take the Beyond Quantum Healing course at a discounted rate, purchase our book, Mandela Effect, Friend or Foe, in paperback or ebook, or to contact me to schedule a BQH session. At the top of the site, you'll find links to help support the work I do, access the free private forum where you can discuss organizing get-togethers in your area, Mandela effects, and more. Thank you all so much for being here.